I hate to give it to some of y'all Americans, but the IQ is in the gutter. Geography in the gutter. In the gutter. I know it's been a couple of weeks since the announcement of Bad Bunny performing at the summertime ball. That's how you know that's how you know I work where I work. It has been a couple of weeks since the announcement of Bad Bunny performing at the Super Bowl halftime show, and it seems to have turned America into a catastrophic mess. You have people talking about ICE and all kinds of things, not actually realizing that Bad Bunny lives in an American territory. Like, I hate to give it to some of y'all Americans, but the IQ is in the gutter. Geography in the gutter. In the gutter. Because how you don't know that? Probably the same individuals that don't know that Puerto Rico is actually also in the Caribbean as well. Anyway, the racism is outrageous. I will give you 3 solid reasons as to why it's a fantastic decision, as to why they have decided to announce Bad Bunny, as why they've made this decision. Wasn't Bad Bunny like the most streamed artist, like the 3rd most streamed artist in the whole world last year or something crazy? Spanish is like a top 10 speaking language, with probably a high population of people within America and in American territories that speak Spanish. So not only worldwide, but also that. And then let's like not even forget about the fact that Bad Bunny's music translates. Like, it translates. It's not just about it being Spanish speaking. It's about the vibe. It's about music bringing people together. That is why we will be sat down at that halftime performance and we will be watching Bad Bunny. No one can say any bad thing. And watch. Mark my words, he will bring in a bigger audience than Kendrick did this year. Watch. Mark my words. We're going to clip this in February 2016. 2016? 2026. Do you know what? I had a question for you. Got a question for you. What happened to Pretty Little Thing? Since they went avant-garde, all of a sudden, they've gone from BBL baddie nightwear to like wallpaper clothes. Like this sort of beige ambient aesthetic. They've gone to beige, from BBL to beige wear. Look, I'm not knocking their hustle, but I don't really know where are we shopping these days, because I don't even think it's Pretty Little Thing. You know, sometimes when you take these risks, you don't reap the reward, but if you don't take a risk, you won't know whether you're going to prosper or not. So I'm not saying you shouldn't take risks, but I'm saying I don't know where to get my clothes from these days, because I don't know if I want sort of preppy beige wear, I'll go to Zara, not PLT. They've already made a name for themselves, you know. Social media was ablaze yet again. Ayesha Curry went on to a podcast. What is it? Call Your Daddy? Call Me Daddy? Call the Daddy? Whatever it's called. And she basically had a conversation and said that having kids and being married wasn't in her 5-year plan. Like, it wasn't in her plan at all. She wasn't thinking about it. She wasn't that person that had, do you know what I mean? Like, you know, there's people that have like a Pinterest of their wedding dress and all of that. That was not her vibe. She wanted to be a hardworking girl. That was her MO. And she met Steph Curry on a whim, kicked it off, had kids very, like, quite rapidly, and now this is her life. Now, at no point did she say that she is annoyed at that. She's just stating her truth. Now, as you can imagine, there's people in the comments saying, oh, you're ungrateful. You shouldn't be saying that because you have kids. And to be fair, like, she still has, I'm guessing she has her own businesses. She has things that she does. She wanted to become an actress, didn't she? That was her thing. She wanted to become an actress. Just because you have kids, it doesn't mean that you can't then pursue your career or what it is that you want to do later on down the line. She's in a very financially privileged position whereby girl can do both. Should she be penalised online for saying that? I mean, I do feel like we live in an era where, a lot of information gets shared. Sometimes information that we don't really need to know or we're not privy to. However, without people opening up about certain things, I guess we're not going to be in a position whereby others can, it breeds it breeds room for people to go, oh, I felt like that, I'm not alone. And so I think when I first saw that she'd said that, I thought, oh, bloody heck. Oh, that's going to rustle a few feathers. But then, whose feathers? You can be so quick to sit there and start giving it all of that yap. When it comes to people's personal situations and whatever. But listen, at the end of the day, she's sharing her truth. That's how I see it. She's sharing her truth. And if that is her truth, then so be it. As long as she's happy, surely that should be the main thing. Will the kids be pissed if they, later on down their years, hearing mummy say that kids weren't in her? No, I don't think she said anything that was that offensive. And I don't think many people, given the opportunity to be presented by an NBA player, would be turning it away because they want to pursue a career in acting. If anything, might get a little knees up from the NBA player. So yeah, I don't think she said anything that was that detrimental. Obviously, like I said, on first glance, it can be a bit of like, oh gosh, oh. But then when you actually deep it, it's not that deep. Do you think it's deep? Well, did that offend you? Let me know. Obviously, drop a comment. I saw this the other day when I was near work, on my way to work. And on the floor it said, which country is the most patriotic? And then it had, I don't know whether you'll be able to see this from here. It had like flags written down and then like a list. And then the number one, it said Pakistan, then it said Kurdistan. But I actually want to know, what do you think? What country do you think is the most patriotic? I would definitely say that when you go to like the Caribbean, like when you go to Jamaica, you are seeing that flag everywhere. You are seeing that flag everywhere, loud and proud. For real. Similarly, when I go to other Caribbean islands, you'll see the flags being represented there as well. But then I've been to Turkey and I've seen the flag on every nook and crevice. It's an interesting one. What country do you feel is the most patriotic towards their flag and towards living there? Let me know in the comments. I have just finished watching Beauty in Black recently, and I'm categorically convinced that Tyler Perry has set out on a mission to troll us all. He set out on a mission to troll us all. I'm convinced, because I'm not being funny, but when you have the access and the financial aid that he has, and then he chooses to give us a backdrop whenever the characters are in an apartment, a backdrop that literally looks like it's been hand-drawn by a 5-year-old. Please tell me the need. Some of the storylines, I honestly think, like, did that even need to happen? What Rain did towards the end of season 2, no spoilers, did that need to happen? I feel like he's trolling us. He's on purpose trolling us. And then also some of the acting. I mean, obviously I'm not here to cause any offense, but is he telling them to act in a particular way to troll us? Because some of it is like, you motherfucker, if you just one more motherfucker, I told you. If I have to tell you again. It's giving that. It's giving. And then also we have to talk about the fact that there's no such thing as time in Beauty in Black. There's no such thing as time. What do you mean that 𝐃𝐨𝐧'𝐭 in Charles's crib, and we didn't get a continuation of that storyline until like 2 episodes later? Or just something chaotic will happen, let's say like in the morning, and the characters they're still getting out of bed, then they're on the way to a meeting, and then they're going to have an argument with somebody else, and then they're going to go out on a dinner. Meanwhile, there's something that has been chaotic that happened in the morning, and no one knows. There is no, what is the terminology? There is no concept of time. There is no concept of time in Tyler Perry's Beauty in Black. There's no concept of time, which is why I honestly believe to this day that Tyler Perry is trolling us. He has to be trolling us. It is so... Beauty in Black is just so dramatically engaging. It's addictive. I can't stop watching it. I'm not going to stop watching it for anybody. Give me the next installment. Because I can say all of these things and I'll still be parked up in front of that 4K screen like no man's business. I'll give it to you, Tyler. You know what you're doing to rope in an audience. Because it'll definitely get people in the comments going, won't it? Talk about getting people going in the comments. Doja Cat, she had a sit-down interview recently. One thing that I do love about Doja Cat, though, is the fact that she's not afraid to make a joke out of herself. And I feel like in this day and age, people really like to take themselves seriously. When, if you can take the piss out of yourself, then it's not going to feel as bad if somebody else takes the piss out of you. And she took the piss out of herself because her album numbers have flopped. They're not doing good. I really loved Doja Cat before all the doom and gloom, before it went into Illuminati type Satan. That's when I loved Doja Cat, like Rules. You know that song? Doja Cat, Rules. Yeah. This era of Doja. Yeah. This was before. Oh, this was the same album as Streets. Hot Pink, yeah. Motions. Yeah, so that era, was that 2019, yeah? Doja Cat that I loved. That is the Doja Cat that we want back. Because as soon as you start messing around with like Satan and Illuminati and you're wearing these horns and everything's blood dripping and all of that kind of stuff, people don't ride with it. Let's stop taking the piss out of Christianity, please. And then when you've got an opportunity to sit in front of somebody and they're asking you the question of, what do you have to say about, run the clip so that, run the clip.
Then somebody who works in the store thinks you worship the dead. Mm-hmm. Is it inside of you to ever clear something like that up, or you just kind of let that be fester in the world as it wants to?
I think about it a lot.
Really?
I think about it almost every day.
What part of it?
Every single part, every time, every pinpoint of when that's happened to me down my career.
Yeah.
It's happened a lot. And I think it's not for me to prove to people who cannot or don't wish to listen. It's the harsh reality, but I'd like to stay there.
But when you've been given an opportunity to talk about, what do you think about these rumors about people saying that you are a Satanist, and you know you're not a Christian, etc., etc. Like, I'm just seeing smirks and smiles, when that really could have been your opportunity to announce your faith and maybe like come clean about what it was that you was going through during that period of time. Our God is a very forgiving God, you know. He is without sin, should cast the first stone. You know, not verbatim, but you get the drift. Our God is a very forgiving God. And so I just feel like she could have really used the opportunity, if that was the case, to really announce her faith and talk about that period of time. Because what? Like, how are you saying I'm not a Satanist, but then there's a thing of her dressed like a gremlin with these things on her head? Come on. Honestly, people think that we were born yesterday. No, we can see the visuals. We can see those visuals, honey. You know? And it's a shame because I really love Doja Cat's music. I think she's insanely talented. I think, yeah, the choreography, everything about her, like, you know, she doesn't take herself too seriously. But then these little nuggets is where I'm just a bit like, oh gosh. Especially when you've been given opportunity to. But, you know, we're all going through our own stuff. As long as she's all good in herself, what can we say? Married at First Sight. I saw this thread the other day that said, I miss when the couples on Married at First Sight went on the show because they were genuinely open to love with no hidden agenda. And quite sadly, I feel like there are a number of characters, specifically men in the show, that are just seeming like they just want to be in it for clout, or I'm not too sure as to whether their intentions are 100. I think you drop a comment. Who do you think is in it for the wrong reasons? Drop a comment. Who do you think is in Married at First Sight for the wrong reasons? I'm glad that Sarah and Dean are out of the show. I think Dean, God love him, he needs to work on himself, grow the backbone whilst working on himself, because he, you know, it was sad what was happening to him, but he should have seen it as clear as day from the stuff that she was saying, sadly. And this is bad. Like, I just feel like she had that much of an ick that she was treating him so poorly, and it wasn't nice to see. Like, it actually did end up being uncomfortable, because we all get it. Like, if you're not attracted to somebody, if they're not your type, they're not your type. You've tried, it hasn't worked. They should have been out within the first week, 2 weeks at the thing when they're speaking to the experts. It dragged on for far too long. But I think nobody deserves to be kind of put down as much as he did. But I think she recognises that, so I don't feel like she should be like vilified any more than she already has been, because I think that is something that she has recognised. But I did start to feel quite bad for him. I did. Julia Ruth and Devani. I just think, like, yeah, why are they still in? Why are they still in the equation? I think she, again, made it very clear from the jump that she liked tall men. He's not a tall man. Gorgeous, but there clearly is something missing. And yeah, I mean, I never really agreed with the whole, like, where do you put certain things, because, like, in a relationship, I just, like, wouldn't you want your partner to be hardworking, career-driven, financially stable to a degree, and all of these things, you know, looks, personality, looks, before it gets down to like the physical side of things. Like, not everything has to be like sex. That doesn't have to be like the driving force of humanity. Surely there should be some level of appreciation to all of the other things.
Now, I'm going to have to hold this right here and pause, because so much has transpired from when I recorded this, which was like about a week ago to now. Honestly, I cannot believe the 360 on Julia Ruth. Obviously, we're now finding out that they have had sexual relations, which they decided to keep from the group. Outrageous. Something that I've not been able to understand is just why, for somebody who has gone on the show, spoke about so much about sexual liberation, sex being so fundamental in their relationships, and has spoken again and again and again about it, would they then want to keep it to themselves? Listen, the gal is embarrassed by him. She's made it very clear from day dot, numero uno, that she does not find the man attractive. I don't care what she says. She's complained about his height. Devani needs to wake up and smell the shite, clearly, because this is just like, it's just unhinged. I have never seen a MAFS where a whole cast have gotten onto a pairing like they have with the both of them. It's insane. Yeah, I mean, she really did take a beating at the commitment ceremonies and in front of the experts. I don't know what's going on in her life that is making her a compulsive liar in this degree, but yeah, girl, it's looking good.
But yeah, I don't understand why they're still in it. They need to get the boot. Reese and Leisha, is it Leisha? Do you know what? I do feel like they. I mean, obviously, I've seen all of the stuff online about him and his. Anyway, let's just talk about MAFS and what we're being presented with at hand. I don't think he's lying when he says that he does fancy her. I think he does. I just think that she is wanting. Okay, fair. They married each other at first sight. What are you expecting? But asking somebody after day 2, are you falling for me, is a bit. Let me catch a breather. And that's what I feel like. I feel like there has to be. Something that I have noticed with some of the women, should I say, on this season, is that a lot of them have wanted things to be their way without actually listening to the partner and giving them a second as well. And to be fair, like it's something that, you know, I've even gone through in kind of dating previously, kind of wanting things to go my way as opposed to listening to what the other person might need as well, so that it creates an even playing field. So that's one thing that I would say upon reflection, but I do really like the way that a lot of the relationships are going, and it is quite nice to see. But yeah, with Leisha, I just feel like it was very kind of down the throat style. Reese, I don't know. I do feel like he likes her. Is he in it for the right reasons? Does he want 5 minutes of fame? I'm not sure. One observation is that any guy that sits there and moans and complains and whinges about you giving too much affection and being showered in too much affection, do they like you? Do they like you? Or because I don't know. I don't know whether some of these guys are using certain things to try and not be completely honest, and they are using certain things as like a scapegoat instead of just being like, yeah, I'm not on it. That's Steve. What's his name? Steven. He just seems like, you know, Steven, he just seems like a lot of work, and a lot of work needs to be done to himself. And I hope that watching the show, he can see where he may be going completely wrong, because he is not listening, you know. And I think it's very me without actually understanding that there's two people involved in this equation here, darling, you know. Does he like Nelly? I'm not convinced. And it's a shame because Nelly is an absolute babe, to be fair. I have seen online that the experts have been getting some stick about not intervening as much as they should with, like, Steve-O. Oh, why can't I forget? You know what I mean. And like certain behavioural patterns and stuff. What is your takes on it? I mean, one thing that I will say is the fact that, like, we're obviously only seeing a condensed version of the show, so they're only going to show the most dramatic bits. Are they going to show us bits where they're actually going and nosediving into people's personality traits? Do we need to see that? I guess. Yeah, but then there's been episodes that we've seen where they really have laid it on thick. But could they lay it on more? Let me know in the comments. Do you feel like the experts are underselling themselves and should be going at it a little bit harsher when they are confronted with somebody who isn't behaving correctly? Let me know. Welcome to In the DMs, where I go through the funny, bizarre and unhinged DMs that you get sent in this wonderful and weird world that we call social media. Yes, social media. I'm George. Welcome back. Nice to see you. Hope you've been good. Gonna get into this one. This is actually a funny story because I saw this. I got sent this, and this is Tyreek, right? Somebody messaged Tyreek saying, you need to hit up the gym and get your scrawny ass weight up. He replied, thank you for the advice. You're right. I'm going to start hitting the gym. But even at my current state, I wouldn't go near you if my life depended on it. Hilarious clapback. Why people feel the need to get into people's DMs and talk to them about weight? Scrawny ass weight up? What? I thought Tyreek's not underweight. Scrawny? Where? There ain't nothing scrawny about Tyreek. Anyway, hilariously, I thought I was replying back to my friend saying, oh my gosh, I'm going to save this for in the DMs. And it actually turns out I messaged Tyreek directly. Embarrassing. Anyway, I did also message him at the start of this year asking him if he'd be up for coming on in the DMs. So, hi Tyreek. Moving on. This DM is bizarre. I had my hair in braids for a while. By the way, I've now got this new concept, right? Where if I am getting my hair done for 10 hours and I'm there on that chair and my nyash is turning grey because I've been sat down for so long, best believe I'm getting at least 10 weeks out of the hairdo. What do you mean? I'm spending all of this money and I'm sat down and I'm having to recalibrate my body every time I stand up because I've been sat down for so many hours that I'm only going to keep it in for a couple of weeks. You must be mad. You must be mad. I got a good 10 to 11 out of that. No regrets. Just wash the hair, obviously. Anyway, someone replied back to my hair being up and then the little baby hairs. Someone went, nice. But I've never seen you with the aggressive baby hairs, though. A first for me. With a love heart. Don't really know what to make of that. What is aggressive baby hairs? It was only a siding swoop. What, were they growling at you? Asking you what's for dinner? Like, what? What do you mean aggressive? Bit of an odd comment if you ask me, but, you know, I guess the love heart makes up for it at the end, doesn't it? And unhinged. This got sent through to one of my friends. God love her. And she's just smiling. She's smiling in the picture, looking gorgeous. And someone replied back saying, "Your nostrils are huge. What have you been putting up there?" With 5 laughing faces. Like, what have you been putting up there? Oh, my fist. My thumb 3 times a night because I'm just looking for a bit of expansion in the nostril region. I'm actually looking for more of a wide set spread rather than the tight hole that I have. Like, what kind of message? Nostrils are huge. What? What even is huge nostrils? Well, I'll tell you one thing for free is she ain't got that. People are crazy, man. Listen, we've come to the end of the episode. Comment, like, and subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. This is in the DMs. If you have got a funny, bizarre, or unhinged DM that you feel like should be spoken about, then please drop a comment underneath this video and get involved. As I always say, it is completely anonymous, so I am not going to be spilling the secrets. And yeah, I'll see you on the next episode.